then speech by Mr. Nur Hadi, as Head of Department of Industrial and System Engineering, Institut Teknologi 10 November Surabaya, and then submission of material to be delivered by, and then photo session, and the last closing. The first agenda is press welcome to Mr. Nur Hadi, is Head of Department of Industrial and System Engineering, Institut Teknologi 10 November Surabaya, to give a speech and the same time open a guest lecture this afternoon. To Mr. Nur Hadi, please welcome.
Thank you so much, Mbak Inaki. Good afternoon, Prof. Kim. I think in UK now is good morning. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and good afternoon for Prof. Iwan and also for other colleagues and students. Today we are very fortunate that Prof. Kim are presenting here with us to deliver the guest lecture titled "The Operation Management and Research Agenda." I think it's a very good topic. We are updating the operation management research, and hope that we can update our research area. And we are very fortunate that Prof. Kim can deliver this one. And we hope that also this occasion can strengthen our collaboration between ITS and Nottingham. For the students, please enjoy this activity, and hope that very beneficial for you to do your research. Thank you so much, and I will open this activity. Thank you. I give back to Mbak Inaki. Thank you, Prof. Kim, for joining this.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for speech and opening guest lecture to Mr. Nur Hadi. Next agenda is sing a song Indonesia Raya together. Maybe for the, okay. The voice is not clear.
You have to check the share audio.
Yes.
Yeah. Click sound. Prof. Kim, you can join, Prof.
Okay, thank you. Next agenda is the main agenda, which will discuss the topic of operation management. This is agenda this afternoon, which will be delivered by Prof. Hua Tan as Deputy Research Director of Nottingham University Business School UK, and then which will be later moderated by Prof. Iwan Vanany. Please welcome Prof. Iwan Vanany as moderator and Prof. Kim as guest lecturer. Time is yours.
Right, thank you very much.
Bu Inaki. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings to all of us. Thank you, Pak Nur Hadi, as the head of our department. Today, Prof. Hua Tan have a time to share his knowledge and experience in conducting research in field of the operation management. Prof. Kim will describe the science and the research agenda in the field of the operation research, maybe for the 24 until 60 minutes. After this, we Q&A for us. To short this time for Prof. Kim.
Right, thank you very much. Let me share this screen and screen 2 with audio. Right, first of all, good afternoon to you all, and many thanks for having me. It's been a while. I think it was 2019. I was in Surabaya, so I ran out of badminton shuttlecock, Iwan. I miss ayam soto so much. But anyway, hopefully next year, yeah, when everything back to normal.
Nasi biryani also, Prof. Kim.
Yes.
Nasi biryani.
Nasi biryani.
Nasi kebuli.
So hopefully next year, when everything back to normal, I think I can visit Surabaya and ITS again to have more research collaboration and discussion. Okay. And because I was there 2 years ago, so some of you may not have met me or know me. So I will briefly share with you a little bit of my background, especially my research interest and area. So hopefully after today's section, if some of you interested to collaborate or think some of this area worth pursuing further, please drop me an email. We can have a further discussion. Okay. And I mean, in this academic career for many years already, quite long. And I have 16 PhD students completed. They all in different part of the world, making more money than me. They become big professor, bigger than me now. And at the moment, I have 6 PhD students in Nottingham, UK. And many more in Nottingham campus in China and also Malaysia. Yeah, because we also have cross-campus supervision. So I have some, I not say a lot of, but I will say some experience and also tips to share with you today pertaining to this PhD research, potential research area and the future agenda. Okay. And you can always call me Kim, okay? And my surname is actually Tan, and because in UK you have to put the surname at the back. So if you come to Malaysia, my name will be Tan Kim Hua, but in the UK become Kim Hua Tan, okay? And I use Kim because it's easier for them to understand. But sometimes it can be confusing because in UK, a woman also called Kim. So sometimes they talk I'm he or she or her. Nowadays this is very popular. Yeah, I'm an engineer by background, and mechanical engineer. I actually did my engineering degree in Sukudai, Johor Bahru, University of Technology, Malaysia. And also my master degree in Linköping in Sweden on the manufacturing management, and then a PhD at Cambridge on the operation strategy implementation. So basically, I shifted from engineering, hardcore engineering, then to management, and then to strategy. Okay, so I have experience in the different industry. This semiconductor. I used to work in NEC Malaysia. Really much into this lean supply chain operation management. So I think my past experience actually lay the foundation for my current research and also my PhD research as well. So I also used to work in oil and gas company, and then the longest one is actually with a tobacco company called British American Tobacco. We are in charge of the whole production in the supply chain. So throughout the section today, I may share with you some of my experience and in this different industry and how that add to my my research, and also may also share with you some insight into the future research agenda. Okay, and toward the early 2000, I sort of move away from the industry to academic world, and so I started work in Geneva, a kind of a European organization for nuclear research. I work as a kind of researcher, quality management system researcher. So some of you may curious why you work in the European organization. Actually, the reason being was that I'm a Malaysian, okay, and CERN is a European organization. So most of the researcher there, they are European, British, French, German, and so on. So in the European organization, where the funding actually from the EU is a lot of politics. So if a British professor or researcher there, he or she, if they want to buy equipment, I'm sure you may guess the priority is probably from the UK, right? If a German researcher there, he need to buy a computer, for example, for research, he will look for the German companies and so on. So this is not very good for the EU because it's a funded project by all the countries and so on. So as an outsider, kind of a non-EU researcher, so I'm be more kind of independent. So I able to tell them, look, the thing that you requested for this research, this equipment, the best kind of equipment or technology should be from France, not from UK or something like that. That's the reason I was hired to work in this organization. Okay, and then I got a scholarship and also to work as a kind of researcher at Cambridge University, and then I joined Nottingham. So at the moment, I'm the kind of deputy research director. So overlook the research agenda strategy for the business school in the UK, in Malaysia, and also China. Right, brief background about me. Yeah, so about my research interests. My main research interest actually in supply chain strategy. As I mentioned to you, I've actually engineer by background, but then I move on to strategy. So my research at the moment very much is kind of very action-based research. So I work with a lot of companies. I don't do simulation, optimization. I mean, I supervise students to do this kind of research. But personally, I spend most of my time in the company, working with industry to help them to develop or design their supply chain strategy, and also for them to establish, or link to this global value supply chain to all. So let me share with you some examples. So one of the company I'm working with now, and I've been collaborating with this company for many years, and it's a good example to share with you. It's a company based in Batam, a small island, I think somewhere close to this Sumatra, okay, close to Singapore as well, Batam Island. So this company called Digipass. You can go online and look at the website. There are a lot of information about I'm not promoting for the company, okay, but I've been working with this Indonesian company on this accelerated innovation. So basically a kind of SME, small company in Indonesia. So how can you establish yourself, develop a new product and then become worldwide recognized, for example. So that is, I think, not just kind of challenges faced by this company in Batam, but I believe many companies in Indonesia, Malaysia, Southeast Asia also facing the same issue, same challenges, right? So one of my research area is to work with them, yeah, to develop a new product and using limited resources in a very short period of time, and then launch it to the world market and make a lot of money. Okay, so Pat Jim, the collaborator from the Digipass, so he's now very happy, and he's laughing all the way to the Bank of Indonesia every morning, happy, smiling because he make a lot of money. So let me share with you a kind of work that I do with him. So probably you may see here is an example of a product. I'm not promoting for the product. You can it just to so happen I have a prototype here, which is a finished good anyway. You can buy in any way. A good example here I want to illustrate to you is I just for a lot of research or a lot of work in company, usually they just talk. Talk, and nothing happen. 2 years later, you get all the funding, you spend all the funding, and it's still prototype, and it's still ideas, and even you manage to make a product, you're not going to make any money, and after 2 years, the company bankrupt and so on. But the approach I work with the company in Southeast Asia is very different. So basically, we make it happen. Yeah, because that is part of my PhD research is strategy implementation. How to implement and make it happen. Yeah, you turn your product into a world-class product and be number one in the world. Yeah, so mind the word, being number one in the world. Okay, this is not dreaming. Some of you may say, "Oh, you being big." No, this is real things I'm talking about. Yeah, so for example, with Digipass, we transform this leveling tool, yeah, from a kind of low value added product to very high value added product. At the moment, Digipass is actually a supplier to Boeing, Airbus, Cambridge University, Rolex. So we waiting a Rolex watch now. So most likely, Rolex factory in Switzerland, they are using Digipass product. To NASA. So if you see any satellite GPS in the sky, most likely they are using Digipass tools, product to help them to get better precision into launching the satellites and so on and so forth. Okay, so there is another example I share with you. I think it's very relevant one because you can delete easily. Is this COVID-19, right? And this have a big impact disruption on many companies. So I work with Digipass to launch this product, or we call it Easy Pro, a kind of a mask, intelligent mask to cater for this Indonesian market and also worldwide market as well. Okay, so priority is for Indonesia because Digipass, corporate social responsibility as an Indonesian company, priority is to help the Indonesian first, of course, and then to help the rest of the world. And so this is intelligent in a way that there are a lot of features built into this face mask, and it's N95. This is very safe. So you can go online and check on the information. I may show you some video later on in terms of how I work with Digipass to accelerate this product development. Yeah, within a few months. From the conventional mask that you see, the kind of one-off normal mask to this intelligent mask in a very short period of time. So these are all related to supply chain and operation management research. Okay, and it's a very practical one. Okay, and you can delete easily because this is an Indonesian company. Yeah. The other area I'm working on at the moment is on this sustainable supply chain. Basically look at the industry 4.0 technology like blockchain. Yeah, how I use work with company, adopting this blockchain to increase supply chain visibility or transparency, and also to improve supply chain resilience. So at the moment, I'm working with this small farmer in Uganda. Do you know where is Uganda? Somewhere in Africa. So to implement this green pepper blockchain, yeah, supply chain, so that they can improve or increase their supply chain transparency, because a lot of these small farmer in Uganda, I think they produce green peppers and then export it to Europe, especially to the UK. Yeah, but then there are issue like, you know, consumer in the UK, they want to know, you know, is this green pepper or red pepper, is it genetic modified? What kind of chemical you use, what kind of fertilizer, for example. Yeah, how about this pesticide residues and so on and so forth. And also they want to know whether is this a fair trade, you know, whether Tesco or Sainsbury, I know they pay the kind of fair share to the small farmer. So consumer in the West or in the Europe, they want to have more information, more transparency is needed. So I believe this thing also happening in Southeast Asia, Indonesia, and Malaysia as well. Yeah, because consumer like us, we want to know more because we want to play our we want to take company and also play our part in the social responsibility as well. So we care, you know, about the world and so on. So we want more information. So this is just an example, kind of area I'm working in. Of course, green, climate change, also an area I'm working to as well. The third area I'm looking into is on the lean. Yeah, some of you may aware, lean is also called Toyota production system. But the technology or the tool and techniques of lean is already quite stable, so nothing much to look into. But I'm more focused on the karakuri, a kind of low-cost automation. Yeah, because a lot of company nowadays they adopt lean to achieve green, to achieve sustainability. Yeah, but little research has been done, you know, how can they do lean and green at the same time. So there is an area I'm looking into. So for your interest, so this could be a kind of, if you ask me, Kim, what would be the future research area or hot topic and so on. So these are the topic. I'm not saying that these are all of them, but some of the topics that are very relevant, at least for the next 20 years, you know. Supply chain strategy to be more robust, resilience, and accelerated innovation. You know, how to launch a product rapidly to the market and make money. Yeah, very important, because a lot of company, SME, they manage to get some funding, you know, from somewhere, and then they come up with some product, but there's no market. It's a waste of time and resources. That is not good. Okay, so how to develop a new product rapidly in a short period of time, launch it to the whole world and make a lot of money. I think that is more important and also more interesting for us as a researcher, right? So that's all a kind of brief introduction about me and also my research area. And in terms of agenda for today, for my section, so I'm going to first share with you the key trends and underlying causes. What are the major forces at the moment in the global environment? So this is important because we need to understand this before we talk about, oh, what are the future research area and so on. Yeah, so I'm going to spend some time and also share with you some videos on what is going on and so on. So from there, then we can discuss, okay, based on what is going on, the different crises and forces, Industry 4.0. So what will be the opportunity for future research, right? And I believe most of you are PGR, or what we call here PGR, I mean a PhD student or researchers. So before we end the session, I also share with you an approach that I've been using and how I use this to work with companies, what we call a process approach, a process-based action research approach. So basically an approach to work, a kind of a researcher is like a consultant, but you're not a consultant, you are academic, yeah? But you work with company to help them to implement their strategy, whether for new product development, supply chain strategy, operation strategy, and so on. But you as a academic, yeah, not as a consultant. Okay, so I will briefly share with you because I believe this process-based action research going to be very, very important in the future, especially for Southeast Asia and also Indonesia, because it's a global environment. Okay, and then a small firm in Indonesia most likely is also part of the global supply chain. Yeah, and they need kind of support or knowledge from researcher like you to help them, to guide them, or to support them to become a world-class organization, just like Digipass in Batam and so on. So I'm not saying that other research like modeling, kind of empirical study, those are not good. I mean, they are also important. What I try to share with you is another dimension that you may want to consider, maybe a kind of mixed method in your research in the future. So you can do a modeling upfront, and later on, you can use a process-based action research to work at a company in Surabaya to help them to launch their product or a supply chain or establish a robust supply chain all over the world, for example, a kind of mixed method. So it's not just a pure modeling and so on. So this kind of thing are good to add to body of knowledge, but sometimes practitioners, industry, they also need kind of more action-based kind of research or support for them. Okay. Right. Any quick question before we continue, or you prefer to keep all the question toward the end? Yeah. If no further question, I think I should continue now. Yeah. Okay. Right. So at the moment, I think before you talk about future research, there are a lot of things happening now. I think multiple crises are impacting this global supply chain operation management. Okay, so in this section, you will see that I use supply chain management or supply chain more than operation management. Partly, if you ask me, we can debate this for another 3 days or whatever. I will see they are interrelated, and I will see operation management is part of the supply chain management. Okay, because operation management, if you look at the inventory, warehousing, scheduling, all those, they are more kind of internal, kind of related. Whether supply chain is more kind of outside the firm. Okay, they are interrelated. You can't have a supply chain without operation management and so on. So interrelated. But I'd like to give you a better kind of a broader view. Then later on in the subsequent discussion, we can focus more specifically on operation management if you want. Yeah. So let's look at this global supply chain operation management. COVID-19, I think we all been impacted heavily by this pandemic. Yeah. I haven't traveled for 2 years now. So my this platinum status, this BA travel card is expired already. 2 years no traveling. Yeah, a lot of my prestigious for kind of traveling all gone. Yeah, and the impact on, I think, believe you understand, and the industry and so on. And the Brexit, it may not feel the impact in Indonesia, but in the UK and also in EU, there's a big a lot of things going on. I think recently, if you look at the BBC or CNN, you see the fishermen, in the mainland EU, especially the French and the British, they understand off, in terms of this is where you draw the line, for the fish import, export, and so on. And also a lot of companies like Toyota, Nissan, those have operation in the UK. Honda, for example, they're shutting down their plant in Wales, and they relocate the factory to mainland Europe and so on. And the UK now also are joining this TCCP, something like that, the Asia Pacific one in Southeast Asia as well. Okay, so huge impact on the global supply chain. And not to mention the trade war between US and China. I think this is two giant colliding, and a big impact on the global supply chain, because there's going to be a lot of decoupling of this global supply chain. For example, I mean, this ex-president Donald Trump, you know, he wanted this iPhone assembly operation out from China, relocate to Vietnam, to India, for example. So all this is going to have a huge impact on the global supply chain. Okay, and so there are going to be a lot of area for research, you know, so we can explore some of them later. And also the crisis of this the shipping. I think, as you know, if you look on the news, shipping costs now is so expensive. Used to be like 300 kind of pound, kind of a container from Shanghai to UK. I think now it's like 7,000 pound, you know, for one container. It's crazy, right? Yeah, but this is what's happening now. So this have a huge impact, yeah, in terms of the global supply chain operation management, planning, scheduling, and distribution, and so on. Yeah, not to mention climate change. Yeah, about this COP's 26. I think it was the conference started Monday at Glasgow, UK. Yeah, also the impact of the plastic waste, corporate social responsibility, and many other issues. Okay, so these are the kind of big crisis or forces are shaping this global supply chain at the moment. Okay, so but because we only have limited time, I'm not able to discuss each of this more in depth. So I'm going to just focus on COVID-19 first. Okay, because this is something you and I can relate. So it's important for me to share with you, you know, something that you can relate easily than saying something that you may say, well, it's waste of time. Okay, so let's look at the COVID-19, and Professor Iwan and I also got a paper recently accepted on the IEEE engineering management, also related to this COVID-19. So, if you want to know more, Professor Iwan you can ask him. Okay, but here I just want to share with you what are the challenges, you know, under COVID-19, the big picture, and then I will then narrow down to share with you some of the research that I've been doing in under this you know, COVID-19 related research. Okay, so I think obviously in terms of disruptions on the COVID-19, we can sort of categorize them into three area. One is on the demand side disruptions, especially on the volume change. Yeah, especially at the beginning of the COVID-19, you probably see on the news and BBC, CNN, you know, and also in any news in Indonesia, there's run out of stock, especially toilet paper. You know, everybody crazy for toilet paper. I don't understand, you know, when in this pandemic, what people should worry about is food, right? You think about whether you could buy more rice, you know, more chicken, more meat, and so on. But in the UK and in America, people just care about toilet papers. I don't understand. So this is very important, because this can link to some potential future research. For example, consumer behavior and things like that. I will talk about more of this later on. But the key thing is that suddenly, you know, there's a dramatic increase in terms of demand for certain products, you know, like toilet paper, yeah, but not shampoo, you know, for example, you know, you talk about kind of a lady products, but shampoo, there is no huge demand, only toilet paper. It's very strange. And channel change, yeah, because the lockdown, you have to stay at home, so we go online for shopping, and also let's have a kind of a big impact on the future demand planning in the global supply chain, for example. Production disruptions, because of the lockdown, you have to stay at home, so a lot of companies, they're not able to operate because of labor shortages. For example, Digipass in Batam, the company also faced challenges because of the lockdown in Batam, Indonesia, and he only a few workers or a limited number of workers can come to the factory and so on. So these are the challenges, and then I will share with you later on how they overcome this. Yeah. On the supply side, and the supplier, so not just you as a company, your suppliers, the whole global supply chain are affected. So your supplier are disrupted by shutdown, lack of labors and so on. So you may not able to get the raw materials, or components, or even you manage to get them, you're going to be late, in also small quantity, and so on. So they're going to have a big impact on your production, on how you're going to fulfill customer demand and so on and so forth. And the example of the toilet paper is a good example of this, the impact of this buoy effect. You're familiar with this buoy effect, right? The supply chain effect, or we call it a Forrester effect. With small changes in the market, it get amplified further up the supply chain and so on. Okay, so this I think you will understand. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. So what I want to share with you more is the, under this COVID-19 disruption, so how company could enhance their supply chain operation management capabilities. Especially how firm could be sort of to plan and also respond and recover from a disruption, not just now, but also in the future. Okay, so they are in terms of supply chain capability for this withstanding future disruption. Professor Chow, a famous supply chain professor, he argued there should be, from these 3R dimension. First R is resilience. So how quickly can or for firm to ensure continuity of their supply chain operation. So how resilient are you? You got disrupted, so how can you you fall down? So how can you stand up quickly and then continue business as usual? Okay, so that is called resilience. That is very important. But based on his research, he argued that that itself is not enough, because we're talking about a global supply chain. The second R is regeneration. So how quickly can you stand up at the same time? Not just doing business as usual, but also to able to introduce new product to meet new demand under this new challenges and uncertainty. So resilience is how quickly can you get up, and continue your operation. Regeneration is how can you kind of tap into your existing resources, and then develop new product to meet the new demand. Okay, and responsiveness. You can see, if you look at the supply chain, from supply to demand, the first 2R is basically more focused on the supply side. Okay, so you're on the operation manufacturing side. Whether the third R is responsiveness. This is more toward the customer, on the downstream side. So how can you respond quickly, to the market or needs? Okay, so 3R. This is very important, and this is a very, very hot topic. And Professor Chow just edited a special issue in this Journal of Operation Management. It's one of the best top journal in the world related to this supply chain resilience. So you can go online now. You will see some of the accepted papers in the edited issue. I will show one paper with you later on as well, from one of the leading author in the supply chain operation management research. Okay, now some of you may still wonder what is this 3R, and you may want to see some example, right? So because in research, in order to develop a kind of robust research strategy, research question, research objective, you need to really understand what is going on inside out. If you only know the surface, not in depth, so your research question or may not be rigorous enough, and also may not able to develop a kind of a high impact research that is long lasting. Because one of the KPI for today research is that it had to be high impact. Not just able to publish in a top journal like JOM, Management Science, Harvard Business Review, or Operation Research. Your work also had to be very relevant to industry. Big company in Indonesia will come to you, say, hey, can we collaborate? I like your work and so on. And also government officer, minister will also come to you. Can you help me, develop this kind of a new supply chain strategy or industry strategy for Indonesia, for example? Yeah. So it had to be high impact from that perspective, not just on the publication. Yeah. So in UK, there's a lot of emphasis on that. So we now sort of 30% is on the, or 33% is on the publication. 33% now is on the this impact. How you, and then the other 30%, 33% is on the engagement. How you work with a company, government, think tank, and so on. So no longer like what we understand 20 years ago, you are a researcher, as long as you can publish a paper, oh, you are top of the world, you are the best, and that's it. Whether anyone read your paper and so on is not important. But today, the rule of the game has changed a lot. Okay, it's all about citation. What is your H index, and so on? How many people cited your work? How many kind of white papers in the government cited your work, and how many companies, sort of make money because of your work and so on. So these are more important nowadays. I mean, I'm not so sure in Asia yet, but in UK, this is the trend at the moment, and a big emphasis on this engagement and impact. Okay. So share with you example you can relate easily with DigiPass group. Yeah, and I've been working with this company, Pratt, for many years already. So we started with this leveling tool, the one I told you about, for NASA, for Airbus, for Cambridge, for Rolex, yeah. And then very successful. And then we sort of, okay, Pratt is not, he's very ambitious. And as you know, Indonesian people are very hardworking, intelligent, and ambitious. He said, okay, we tested, we want product, and then we are the market leader in the world, and he's not happy. He said, maybe if I'm successful, if he share his story with the fellow Indonesian in Jakarta or Surabaya, people may look at him and say, Pak Jim, you are lucky. Sometimes this thing happen, right? You do something, you buy a lottery, you won the first prize. This happen, right? So he develop a new product and then launch it to the world. He make a lot of money, #1 in the world. Lucky. So he said, Kim, maybe we should do it again. Yeah, show them another product. So this is not by luck. This is through research, intelligence, hardworking, knowledge, and so on and so forth. So the second product I work with him is on this EG Touch, a kind of digital lock, especially for traveling luggage. Yeah, so if you been travel a lot before the lockdown, I'm sure you're familiar with the famous luggage maker like Limova, Samsung Night, Tumi, for example, LV. Those are very high-end, very expensive kind of luggage maker. Like for example, a Limova may cost you 700 euro, for example. Yeah. So basically, the EG Touch is a kind of a lock for this kind of high-end luggage. So because it's digitalized, so and it's very safe, and you also is a kind of a link to GPS and so on, so it's very user friendly. So we launched this product a few years ago. So immediately again capture the market and won many international awards. Yeah, including those awards that have been won by Apple for the iPhone. So you can imagine the impact of this EG Touch product on the world market. And also this DigiPass Pratt own this IP, intellectual property, for the product for the next 20 years. So he actually capture using this product a huge market, yeah, few billion US dollar market. Because if you Remova or Tumi or Samsonite, if you want to have a kind of a digital lock in your luggage, you have to go through DigiPass. Yeah, because otherwise DigiPass now can sue them. Yeah, so can you imagine? Yeah, now a small company in Batam, yeah, can sue all these big company in the world. At the moment, our understanding is all these big company in the world, they can come to Indonesia, Malaysia, they sue the Asian company because we sort of infringe or copy their ideas and so on. But this is turn the table around. Okay, so everything went well, smoothly, Pak Jim again laughing all the way to the bank every day again, not yeah. So, but then COVID-19. Okay, COVID-19 in lockdown, this means less traveling or no traveling. So immediately the sales of these luggages in a lock almost disappear overnight, right? You can imagine this. So what to do now? Pak Jim got a factory in Batam. There are workers, and this worker got family, and they got children, and they need money, they need work to work and so on. So Pak Jim cannot just say, okay, COVID-19, everybody go home, don't do anything. So he corporate social responsibility, you need to think about society, community, to contribute and also to help and so on. So then he come to me again, Kim, what should we do? Yeah, there are many workers there, and then now there's no demand for this product. Yeah, same for the leveling tool, because shutdown, disruption of the global supply chain. So demand for his product almost disappear. So he cannot just sit at home, play golf at Batam or Bintang and so on every day, right? So we say, okay, let's do something that can help the society. At the same time, you can make a lot of money. Yeah, because COVID-19, we need masks, right? And one of the strategy in terms of research strategy is that we do want to develop a product that is a kind of low barrier of entry. This means everybody can copy and then and develop. Then your profit margin going to be very low, so it's make no sense. Okay. So we say, okay, let's develop a product that is very safe. So Indonesian people can be safe, and at the same time, have to be kind of intelligent, yeah, and also easy to use, yeah, intelligent in a way because people need to wear masks. We foresee that this is going to be kind of like a smartphone in the future, okay, where you need to wear a mask and you're using a smartphone every day. Yeah, and they're going to be face-to-face lecture, everything. There's a big demand in there. So we say, okay, they apply, yeah, based on your capability in the EG Touch and the DigiPass product. We use the same concept or framework to transform the conventional face mask into this intelligent face mask. Okay, so that is I can take a voice control, body temperature sensing. Is a translucent. This means because a lot of girls, you like makeup, right? So if you wear a mask, suddenly nobody can see you. Yeah, you mean your makeup, for example. Yeah, and then you spend so much money for the makeup, so much time, and no one can see. So this translucent is important, especially in some industry. For example, in this Garuda, the airline, air stewardess, they need to serve passenger, for example, yeah, and then a kind of intelligent mask is good for them to, in terms of have a clear kind of conversation with the customer and so on and so forth. I mean, this is just an example. I'm not promoting for his product, just to illustrate to you how within a short period of time we apply the knowledge and the capability to deliver a new product for the new market. Yeah. So this is a illustrate the example of the 3R of this Professor Chow mentioned. For 3R for the supply chain capabilities in the next normal, for example. Okay, and here I give you some insight on how we make it happen. Okay, so if you look at the conventional kind of product development process, take many years, design, develop, test, and launch. So maybe 2 or 3 years. So by the time you launch this kind of conventional mask, the pandemic, COVID-19 already over, for example. And that kind of product is very low value added, too cheap. Everybody can make it, for example. Whereas if you look at the Easy Pro, rapid iterative process. So the same conventional approach now, yeah, we sort of compress it, make it happen like within 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah, so sprint 1, you can see this EG Pro launch a first generation kind of mask. So we not develop the intelligent one straight away. We launched the first generation one. So the reason being that consumer also need to be educated. You cannot just simply give them a kind of very advanced product. So they will worry, and they may not want to adopt it and so on. So we start with this affordable, lightweight, really safe kind of face mask, and can be rapidly launched in high volume to the market. So everyone, maci in Batam, or in Jakarta, they can buy this product and safe and use it safe, and it can go out to the market and so on. But then that is not good enough. So because by wearing this kind of mask for too long, so I believe you have the experience, right? You not feel comfortable and so on. So based on the customer feedback, immediately within we have a sprint 2, again, compress the process. We launch a kind of lightweight, good fit, easy breathing mask. So you can wear it for hours and hours, you don't feel anything. Yeah, it becomes a second skin to your face, something like that. Yeah. And then people will say, the medical doctor, in hospital, they say, hey, I need to conduct operation, I need to open this heart, cut this away. I need a very kind of a safe mask. Yeah, so there's a demand for professional. Those people in the mining industry, for example, and so on, they want the kind of very safe mask. So immediately, sprint 3, we developed this N95 and N99 grade, very high grade kind of mask. Yeah, while maintaining the first generation mask as well. Okay, and then based on customer feedback, again, within altogether, this is just within a few months. And then we have a sprint 4. We have this intelligence mask, the product I showed you just now. Okay, and then at the moment, I mean, kind of confidential. I may not want to tell you a lot because they are developing and launching it now. This intelligent mask will be, like, for example, you from Surabaya, you go to Japan. I believe not all of you speak Japanese, right? I mean, some of you may understand a few words, konnichiwa, sushi. I think this is the only thing you know. By wearing his EG Pro, you just say "Selamat pagi" in Tokyo. Immediately your mask, will translate into konnichiwa, for example. Yeah. If you come to UK, you come to Nottingham to visit me. Yeah, wearing this mask, you say "Selamat pagi," and then your mask will immediately translate to "Good morning." So you can go anywhere in the world. Yeah, with this, so it's better than your smartphone. Yeah, smartphone, you still have to look at it and so on. But with this intelligent mask, and there are other features. So you can see it's going to be this Easy Pro for every child, man, woman, and just like a kind of iPhone or a laptop in the future. Okay, all this within a short period of time. This is what we call rapid innovation. Yeah, and also everything or every operation or every part that I described with you here actually touch on the 3R mentioned by Professor Chow. This means resilience, yeah, ability to restart, after the disruption, and also regeneration, and then for realign the capability to develop a new product to meet the new demand. Okay, responsiveness. Okay, so this is important. I think this also can trigger you for some research idea in the future. You probably heard about this Fujifilm, right? So Fujifilm, also a company that produce Estalif. I don't know how many of you use Estalif. Yeah, but I use it, yeah, because now when you get older, cosmetic is important. And when you're still young, so you may not use it, but I use Estalif. So how many of you are aware this is a very expensive, high-end cosmetic, but actually it's made by Fujifilm, a company that make this digital camera, film, and so on. yeah, basically into the photography industry. Whether the main competitor or at that time, Fuji and also Kodak, both of them actually dominate the whole world, in terms of the photography, the kind of film market and so on. But Kodak, bankrupt in 2012. Okay, but Fujifilm is very smart. They are able to achieve the 3R, as mentioned by Professor Chow in the research, and to transform and degenerate, themselves into the cosmetic industry. So they are also into the semiconductor industry. So based on their capability in the photography and so on, yeah, they able to sort of apply, transfer the technology and skill into the cosmetic, yeah, because they see that Fujifilm film and your skin is also a layer of film and so on. So for them, it looks similar. So that's why immediately they are able to apply the 3R, yeah, to sort of degenerate and launch new product into the new industry. And Fujifilm today is still a very, very big company and making a lot of money. Whereas company like Kodak, yeah, fail to achieve it, and then there is no longer Kodak in the world, for example. Okay, so this just an example, and also to highlight to you, there are a lot of research area you can do, because if you look at a lot of a product in the world or in Indonesia or in Southeast Asia, there are every company produce certain product or services, and the COVID-19, disrupt the global supply chain. Yeah, so company that are not able to have the 3R will be no longer competitive to withstand competition in the market. Okay. So this is just for the COVID-19. So imagine if I go on others, it would take many, many days. Yeah, and not just this multiple crisis. Yeah, but at the same time, what is happening in the world now is with this e-commerce expanded market trend. Yeah, mass customization, because everybody now had a smartphone, and then you can go online, you can compare prices and so on. So you want to be different, right? You don't want to wear a Gucci bag and then a shirt and so on, and then come to a lecture, and then the person sit next to you also have the same one, same model. It's not good, right? For example, right? So you want to be different. So customization, personalization is a trend now. Okay, and also we want to buy products or services from company that play their part in the social responsibility. Their operation are ethical. They pay good wages to the workers. They make sure that the worker children go to school, go to university. They give scholarship, medical benefit. There is no child labor involved in the supply chain. Yeah, and product is safe. Yeah, there is not chemical residues. There is no genetic modify. Yeah, and the company, when they make money, like for example, Apple, Microsoft, they said then they should donate, some of their profit, to alleviate poverty, for research into cancer, things like that. So we want to buy product or services from this kind of company. You don't want to do business or buy product or services from company that make profit and then do something bad, right? And also, it's important today we talk about EDI, equality, diversity, inclusivity. This means you want to buy product from company that hire elderly people as well. You want to make sure that at least hire 10 or 20% pachi and machi, in the company, not just young people. Because old people are also human. They need work, and then they need to be taken care of. Yeah, and also there's a equal number of female worker and male worker in the factory, in the operation. Yeah, if many male or many female, not good. Yeah, because there's no equality, something like that. So this is the trend, and as a product or a service provider, you must prove to the consumer, and so you need to have a kind of a supply chain transparency or visibility. So and show it to the customer. So when they buy your product or services, they say, okay, you are good. Yeah, you tick all the boxes, and your supply chain, your operation is sustainable. This means no animal cruelty, there's a lot of recycling, no pollution on air, water, and so on and so forth. So you're all aware of this, right? But this is all happen now or at the same time. Yeah, so for any product or service provider, they must fulfill all of this. You cannot just say, oh, I only care about e-commerce. I forget about social responsibility or sustainable operation. You can't do that. Or you say, oh, I only care about sustainable operation, but not the rest and so on. These are all happening at the same time. You need to fulfill all of them. Otherwise, you're not able to win orders. This means you're not able to compete in the marketplace. Okay. And this is important because if you look at some of the survey, yeah, consumer now more interested in the transparency about product, information provenance, and this means a product provenance. This means where it come from, how it make, and so on. Yeah, and also consumer willing to pay more, from these firms that play their part in terms of the social responsibility and the sustainable operation. Okay, so this is the trend. Okay, and whether you are in UK, Indonesia, China, Japan, and so on, most of the global consumer think quite similar today because of the internet and so on, globalization. Yeah, and why firm care? Because they have a big impact on their brand performance. This changing behavior going to impact on your supply chain, your operation management, and then also a competitive strategy. They may got the first mover advantage, if you are slow to respond, and so on and so forth. So these are, again, yeah, not the crisis, but the forces at the moment at play. So you can actually look at this and then identify a lot of interesting new research area. I will share with you some of them later on. Yeah. So major crisis. Yeah, and also the undercurrent forces that are impacting the global supply chain. Okay, so you need to understand all these things all at the same time, so that you can develop a kind of sound and high impact research objective or research question for your PhD, so that your work can have high impact for the industry, for the society, and also you're able to publish top papers in leading journals. Yeah, because these are the new trend, and these are the things that shaping the global supply chain. So if you are able to do research that focus on current trend, and there is a big demand for your research. Okay, so if you are still stuck in the doing research on two machine scheduling issue and challenges, then they're going to be big problem, because the world have moved on. Okay, and so we need to understand this crisis and forces, so we catch on the latest trend, or the latest flight. Yeah, so we are not left behind. Okay, so this is the message I want to get across. Okay. And Industry 4.0, as you're aware, cloud computing, this smart phone, machine to machine, IoT, and so on. So because of the time constraint, maybe I will share this PPT with you. Actually, I already capture all the video, and they're very interesting video about all these things. But it may take another 30 minutes to just to play the video, different video, not just one. Yeah, different video. But then we do not have time, because I think we are coming to the end also. So please, later on, I share this slide with Iwan, and then you can get from him, and then you can look into this video, very good video. I spent many times to find the relevant video for you. Okay. And for example, the impact on the automation, Industry 4.0, you can buy a sushi machine that can produce 3,000 sushi. I like sushi. I make sushi, but in the past, if you want to open the sushi restaurant, you need to hire a chef, right? And it's usually very expensive. And the chef will make sushi. It maybe I think 1 hour, maybe they make 40 or 50. If he or she is good, but with this machine very cheap, yeah, X-top, you can have 3,000 sushi. You can imagine, yeah. So in the past, have a chef, you are sort of, you look at your operation management, you tend to make to order. Customer press order, then you ask the chef, and the chef will say, okay, give me 20 minutes. They produce a few for the customer and so on. Yeah. But now with this automation, with this Industry 4.0, you can move the customer decoupling order decoupling point to become assemble to order. So now you can prepare all this raw fish, cucumber, and so on, and this machine, yeah, can immediately roll it into the sushi for you very rapidly. So after you receive the customer order, so you can. This is interesting because this has a high impact on the future operation and supply chain research. Okay, because it really changed the way you plan, you schedule, another way, inventory management, and so on and so forth. Okay, and impact, for example, construction on demand. Yeah, now you can build a house in 2 days. Yeah, you get it right. A house in 2 days. Okay, and in that video you can see their example in Dubai. You know, they build many big complex, you know, using 3D printing. Yeah, so if you have time, you can buy a 3D printing. You print your own house in Surabaya, and very quick, you know, 2-3 days you have a new house already. Okay, can you imagine a house can be printed? How about pizza? Already a technology for that anyway. How about a beef burger, for example? Oh, and so on. Huge impact. They're going to change the way you company manage or operation. Imagine you are Colgate or Oral-B. You produce a toothbrush, right? So with 3D printing, Industry 4.0 technology, now any consumer in the world can buy a small 3D printer and they print their own Oral-B at home. So you no longer need a huge factory somewhere in the UK or US or in or Indonesia, and produce high quantity, you know, send it to the warehouse and distribute and so on. Now, customer just need to download the file, press a button, now they can print their toothbrush at home. Oral-B, Colgate, for example. Yeah. So that is happening now. Yeah. For example, if I want a pizza, I can just look at Domino Pizza, what kind of flavor I want, yeah, and then upload the file. I print my own pizza at home. Yeah, forget about those delivery. Yeah, forget about those apps, you know, for order, you know, food and so on. Yeah, this is happening now. Think about what are the future research area. Okay, and the delivery, they also using this kind of robots. Yeah, they can travel, you know, few hundred or 1,000 miles to deliver product, you know, by themselves, you know, without any driver and so on. If you look at this video, this one very interesting. See how Industry 4.0 shape our future shopping. So you can everything is digitalized. You can go to shop, you know, look at the mirror, and then you can look at whatever shirt you want, and then by looking at the mirror, you know, but then they change your shirt and so on, and then you can share with your friend and so on. Then you look which one is best, you know, only you buy, for example. And then I believe you eat also olive oil. Yeah. So are you not concerned that the olive oil is fake olive oil? Yeah, because actually, if you look at the olive oil producing region in the world, Italy, Spain, maybe Morocco, and so on, how many olive trees in the world? Yeah, how many people in the world? Yeah, so how many liters of olive oil, you know, extra virgin olive oil can be produced in the world? Yeah, per year. And what is the consumption now per year? You will see that, you know, maybe just for argument's sake, maybe 10 liters, yeah, but consumed by the world 1,000 liters. So this means another 990 liters of olive oil, where it come from? Okay, engine oil mix, you know, and so on, right? So with blockchain, yeah, now you can have a clear visibility, yeah, the extra virgin olive oil that you bought from the supermarket, yeah, which farmer, you know, which olive tree, you know, which logistic provider, which packaging house, everything you can trace. So you know that there is no hanky-panky happen to the olive oil that you are using. Yeah, so this is happening now. Yeah, so this again, the technology application, yeah, can shape your future kind of research question and also research interest as well. Yeah, and workers in China lockdown, they're using 5G, and China also now have 6G. This thing, they can operate almost everything from home. You can see the truck here. There is no driver at all. Yeah, they all work from home, and then but everything back to normal. So imagine, people talk about UK in the last few weeks. You see the shortages of a lorry driver and so on and so forth. It only happened in UK anyway, but the other country no problem because they're using 5G. Yeah, one lorry driver at home can manipulate 6 or 7 lorry truck, a lot of operation and so on. So no issue. Okay. And just to sum up, if you look at the whole supply chain from supplier all the way to the customer, and then the impact of the technology, especially in information provenance like the blockchain, customization, 3D printing. You can print your own house, own toys, own pizza, based on your own taste, for example. And then these are robots, drones, IoT enable rapid fulfillment. I mean, there are many others, of course. I just highlight some of the key ones. Okay, and why this is important? Because of the underpinning forces like ethical operation, climate change, social responsibility, customization, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so all this happening at the same time, and you can tap on the Industry 4.0 to meet some of these challenges and requirements. Okay. So, I mean, I do not have time to discuss this with you, but if you look at the Wall Street Journal, how GAPS is using artificial intelligence, helping them to manage the distribution, warehousing, and so on and so forth. Again, these are all supply chain operation management related. Okay, and this is interesting. I think I'll do a quiz with you, a quick one. Yeah, as you know, we all care about environment. And when you buy a television, you buy a appliance like dishwasher, washing machine, I'm sure you check the energy efficiency, right? You want to see how much water they use, how much electricity they use, and so on and so forth. And for a lot of company, they have to make sure the appliance is very, very environmental friendly. This means use less energy, less water, and so on. But the downside of that is that, a cycle of kind of dishwasher nowadays in the past may take half an hour, but today can take you 3-4 hours. So sometime after dinner, you put all the dishes in, you press the button, and tomorrow morning only the whole operation is completed. This means it take many hours. Okay, so now I want to do a quick quiz with you. Because of this, there's a new trend, and especially in US, they talk about carbon footprint and so on and so forth. So if you happen to travel to US next year, say for example, if you go to the toilet, and do your thing, and how many times you need to flush the toilet, do you think, in the US? Or you happen to use a dishwasher, how many times you need to operate the dishwasher in order to have a clean washing of your plate and spoon and fork and so on and so forth. So please put your answer on the chat. Do you only need to flush it time or flush the toilet once, or need to flush it 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, or 15 times? Because you understand the trend, right? Because a lot of product today, they use less energy and less water. This means in the past, your toilet tank is huge. One flush, a lot of water come down, everything is clean. But now, very, very small. One flush, ding, dong, with a little bit of water. So how many times you need to flush it? Same for the dishwasher. Because this is a requirement. Because if your product use a lot of water, nobody will buy. But then if your product too environmental friendly, not enough water, use very little water, then consumer like you and I had to do it many, many times in order to get a good result. Right, a quick one. What do you think? How many times? Let me see the chart. Where is the chart here?
Tulis di chatnya ya.
Yeah. How many times you need to flush the toilet if you in US? 5 times? Yeah, so let me show you the answer. Okay, this is the real one. Wait, what is this?
In the chat menu.
Yeah. So what is this? Let me see.
looking in the
Okay,
Zoom.
this one, yeah. So let me show you the answer from President Trump. What is this? Oh, advertisement. Sorry.
Has this ever happened to you?
You turn on the faucet to wash your hands, you go like that, the thing flips on, and whoa. And then dunk, dunk.
Worry no more with the Donald J. Trump dishwasher.
I'm talking about dishwashers that give you more water so you can actually wash and rinse your dishes without having to do it 10 times.
And it can be yours for the low, low price of $10.
10. Your dishes are gonna be beautiful.
Order now and receive a free Donald J. Trump one-flush toilet.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times. 10 times, right? 10 times. Wow, Bob, not me, of course not me, but you.
Right. So this is happening now, yeah, because it's too green. Yeah, so sometimes you have to flush toilet 10 times. Yeah. So what do you think? Yeah, so this would be a trade-off. So again, this could be an interesting area for future research. Yeah, because one way, in one hand, you want it to be green. Yeah. And the other hand, if you had to do it 10 times, every time you go to toilet to flush the toilet, and I think that is not very practical. Right? But if you don't achieve that, then nobody will buy from you. Like a dishwasher, you have to wash it 10 times, maybe 5 times. This means you spend the whole day, operating the dishwasher. I mean, that is crazy, right? But yet at the same time, you want to protect the environment and so on and so forth. So interesting area for future research. Okay. And this is from McKinsey. I think there's an article here. I put the link here, so you may want to go online to have a look look at what is the new trend for the supply chain after the next normal. This means after COVID-19. They say 2022. What will the new trend? What will the new research area and so on? Yeah, so you can go online and have a look at that. Yeah, and in terms of the potential area for research. So I just highlight some of the interesting one. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the innovative practices in supply chain collaboration. I think my paper with Iwan on the IEEEM engineering management is a good one to see how company, have an innovative practice in the supply chain collaboration in order to meet the to mitigate the supply chain disruption in light of the COVID-19. Yeah, I think this is a very important one, and there are a lot of companies now in Indonesia and all over the world willing to work with you. They face many issues and challenges in terms of operation, supply chain. How? They want to answer how. Yeah, so you at the right time to work with them to address those hands-on, very practical issue their companies are facing. Yeah, and I show you the Industry 4.0 technology, and this is also happening now. And the company also they're aware of all this blockchain, big data, AI, and so on. But how could they adopt this technology? They may have a lot of data, so how they mine the data, machine learning, how they tap into this big data in order to gain more insight into the market trend, consumer behavior, develop new product and so on and so forth. So that's also a huge area for research. Yeah, and the other one is in light of the COVID-19. You and I, in the past we go to shop, in a physical store, but now we go online. Yeah? So there are changes in the consumer behavior. Yeah, so there's a huge area for future research. Consumer behavior impact on the on the distribution, omni channels, and so on. Yeah, you can see a lot of top articles, top journals like JOM, POMS, Management Science, OR. They have many articles in these omni channels. Yeah, and because of the decoupling of global supply chain, trade war, China, America, and so on, so they got a huge impact on the design of the future global supply network. So localization, globalization. So many firms may have to consider, okay, in the past, before COVID, you all talk about globalization, yeah. But now with this pandemic disruption, big impact on the global logistic and so on. So they may think about, oh, maybe some of the operation I should be, I shouldn't have it outside my own country. Should be some local manufacturing, local operation as well. So this is going to have a huge impact on the way this global supply chain operate in the future. Yeah, especially with this impact on Industry 4.0. It's much easier now for company to have localization, especially with the 3D printer. It's much easier now for company not to have a centralized operation all over the world. Yeah, because every consumer house could be a potential factory. Because you're going to print your own toothpaste or toothbrush in the future. You may need to print your own keyboard in the future, and so on. So you don't need to have a factory to produce keyboard anymore. Individual are going to have a 3D printer at home, and so they will do everything by themselves. Okay, and of course, to all this, you need the lower cost, a better quality, and so on and so forth. So this lean and agility is going to be very, very important in the future. Yeah, because if you're not lean, and not agile enough, you're not going to be able to respond, to potential disruption in the future. Yeah, not just pandemic, could be earthquake, could be typhoon, and could be energy shortages. You may notice in the last 2 weeks, the breakout in China, in India, in UK, in US, everywhere, energy crisis, for example. So that's going to be the next one, maybe after the COVID-19 energy crisis. Okay, and COP26, I think happening this week, is about this climate change. Yeah, the impact on mobility, transportation, logistic, sustainable operation, carbon footprint, and so on. So huge. Again, another area for you to tap into. I strongly encourage you to go on the COP26 website, to see what is being discussed now, what is the future trend. So from there, you can identify many interesting research topics or questions to enhance your existing research. Okay, and more at home in Asia is like, for example, how Asian firm can boost growth through technological leapfrogging. This means basically tap on existing 4.0 platform, and to become #1 in the world, just like DigiPass. Okay, not that behind. Okay, I need to learn this. I slowly learn, grow my size to become a Asia best, and then become world #1. No, not good. Yeah, but Jim approach is immediately you become #1, because if you are a small company based in Batam, you do not have resources like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and so on. If you are too slow, this big company will come and squeeze you, and squash you. Then your company will bankrupt, in very soon. Yeah, so you have to be #1 straight away, so nobody can touch you, because you are protected by the IP, global trade rules, and so on and so forth. So that is why rapid acceleration is very, very important. Short period of time. You cannot wait for another 20 years strategy. I become a big company in the world and so on. No way. In today's globalization, everything had to be very, very fast. Immediately develop product, launch it to the world, be #1, and then big company got no choice. They have to deal with you. They have to accept you. You are #1. You are the best, and so on. So that is important, and that is a huge demand for this kind of support or research in Indonesia, in Southeast Asia, and so on. So you guys are very, very lucky, because this is a good timing for you all. You all, a lot of company waiting to collaborate with you, because I understand in the past when I studied in Malaysia, when you go to industry, you want to work with them, collect data and so on, they tend to go away. So most likely, the only person you speak to in the company is the security guard. Because they will say, oh, my boss CEO too busy, you can go home now, and so on, come again next week or something like that. But today, different. Yeah, the CEO, and so on, MD, they will come to you, say, come, help me. I have this issue. What can we do? And so on. So you can develop very kind of practical research that can helpful for the community, for the society, and so on. Yeah. And just to highlight, for example, now today we do a lot of this takeaway, or order for food and so on. Yeah, and then again, interesting report from McKinsey. Yeah, to look at they say you pay how much you pay, the blue bar here. yeah, and then how much actually is a platform commission, yeah, how much actually is a driver tips, yeah, and then actually if you buy from a restaurant, the takeaway food, only 19 or about 20% of that amount you pay actually is a gross margin for the restaurant, and then from that you're going to do the cost of the goods, labor. Okay, so at the end, yeah, only like 0.7% actually is a profit, you know, for that order that you order from the restaurant. Okay, so that is interesting insight. Yeah, a huge area of operation management or supply chain research that you can do based on this. Okay, so I encourage you to look into this latest report. Okay, so a lot of people only think, oh, this is change in the behavior, more people order online and so on. But if you look deeper into it, yeah, a lot of company want to work with you. Look, see, look, with this platform, yeah, I can have more customer, but my profit margin is very, very low. That's not good. What can we do? For example, yeah. So an interesting research area in the future. And I told you, right? Future research had to be more practical oriented, high impact. And you see, this is the latest article, you know, accepted October 18, 2021. Yeah. Case study. In the past, it's very difficult for you to see a case study paper published in JOM, but it's going to become more and more common. Qualitative research, because this is a new demand. You know, practitioners all over the world, they want something that is practical. They're not interested in all this modeling mathematics, which nobody understands except you and your supervisor, for example. Yeah, they want to something that they can apply, adopt and apply, you know, immediately, enhance their operation performance. Okay, so you can go online and look at some of this paper. Just focus on one company only, JD.com. In JOM, it would never happen, you know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. They would say you need to do at least 100 cases or something like that. But now one case alone is enough. Okay, but of course, very in depth. Yeah. And I do not have time to share with you this process-based action research, but you can go to this Cambridge Center for Strategy and Performance. There are many articles, papers on how to develop this process-based action research. Yeah, so kind of very practical approach to help firm to translate, you know, their operation goals or objective into action. Okay, like for example, how they do make or buy, you know, how they accelerate their new product development. In this case, the DigiPass example I share with you. So I use this process-based action research approach with DigiPass. Yeah. Other example is a technology deployment. You know, how we adopt Industry 4.0, IoT, and so on and so forth. Okay, so very much a kind of answer how to question. Okay, because a lot of company they know how to analyze the market, they know what is the future and so on. But the question is how? What can we do in order to achieve this? You know, how to improve my quality performance? How to improve my how to lower my cost, for example? How? So process-based action research, you know, guide you, you know, how you work with company, yeah, and then assist them as an academic, not consultant. But your role is like a consultant, but you are academic. Yeah, so you don't get money from there. Yeah, you work with them, and you know, step by step, involved in every stages in the process. So you basically almost in a company most of the time. Yeah, as a researcher to guide them, you know, to achieve their set objective or goals within a short period of time. Okay, I'm afraid that's all I have for today section. I'm sorry that I a lot of time to show you all those interesting videos, but I'm going to share this PPT with Iwan, and then you can download and then look at those YouTube's links of the interesting video for you. And I believe we still have a bit of time for this Q&A. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Kim. Now, question and answer session.
Oh, sorry. But Iwan, what time is the session to finish?
Time finish until 30 minutes.
30 minutes
Yeah,
more.
30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We have
Maybe
time
I
for
sorry. Maybe I
30 minutes, no
didn't
problem.
I didn't change my time because now it's a summer time. UK is a winter time. So oh, I thought I ran out of time. I thought I already finished. Oh, sorry. So don't worry. In this case, I share with you a bit more about this process-based action research, because this is very, very important, because this is the future. I mean, research direction for many high impact research. And this technique is very important, and very few people in the world understand this, because I was one of the researcher at Cambridge who work on this process-based action research. So I can share with you firsthand, you know, how to apply them, and it's very, very important, very, very powerful. And because if you ITS, for example, if you want to go up the world ranking in the future in terms of the QS survey and so on, yeah, one of the indicator is impact, you know, and research impact and so on. So this approach is very powerful in helping you to have high impact research, yeah, and eventually will help to raise ITS ranking in the world and so on. Okay. Right, so maybe I shorten this because we run out of time. Yeah, so usually when I do this, I ask students what is the research, you know, then have some discussion. Because if you are a researcher, you must understand what is research first, not go on the internet and find the answer, but to able to, you know, explain what is research by yourself. Yeah, use your own word. Yeah, without thinking for 3 hours or 3 days. Immediately you say research is this, because you are doing a research. You are a research student. Yeah. So if you don't understand what is research, no point having further discussion, because this is the most basic fundamental one. Okay. And then of course the next question I ask them, you know, do you understand research now? Okay, good. Yeah, it's a activity, you know, to add, you know, to the body of knowledge in the discipline. Yeah. The next question is, what is a discipline? Yeah, and then are there many types? And and what are the body of knowledge? Say for example, your research in operation management, right? So what is operation management? Yeah, is it a discipline? Yeah, what is the body of knowledge? So you must able to answer this. Forget about research. These are the most basic one, right? If you cannot even answer all this, don't forget about your modeling or all this empirical study, you know. But this, if you don't get it right, you know, subsequent research are all going to be have many problems or issues. Okay, and then operation management, a discipline. Yeah, so it's important you step back and think carefully. What is this? What am I doing? Yeah, research. What is research? Yeah, discipline, body of knowledge. What are they? Operation management. Okay. Yeah. If so, what type? Yeah, you must be able to answer this before you move on to do something else. Yeah. And what are the implications for research methodology? For example. Yeah. So once you understand this, then you have a very clear idea of what kind of research methodology will be more suitable for your topic. Okay, because what happened now is a lot of students, they rush into certain research topic question and, you know, without having good understanding or overview of what's going on. Yeah, so the chosen research method may not be appropriate. Yeah, so or because they only know certain research method, and then so because of you have a tool, so everything look like hammer. You have a hammer, everything look like a nail, because you you hammer them, for example, right? So that have a huge implication in terms of your research quality and implication. Okay, so you need to understand this, and especially in the early 1980s. Many practitioners they criticize, you know, operation management research lack of industrial relevance. If you go on OR, you know, Operation Research Journal or Management Science, how many of you can read the papers and understand what's going on? Most likely you read the first page, you know, the abstract and or the title, and you understand. And subsequent, when you move to the second page and third page, most likely a lot of people lost already, don't know what's going on. Yeah, and yet a lot of people consider they are the top best journal in the world and so on and so forth. I spoke to the editor-in-chief, Levitt, from MIT, and other people who publish there. You know, sometimes they also admit, you know, they also cannot understand some of the papers. So imagine if they also can't understand, how about practitioners? Yeah. So practitioners are not stupid. They are dealing with consumer like you and I. You know, these are actual consumer and very demanding. And we buy a product, we want good quality, low price, you know, we want it fast and so on and so forth. We are very demanding. So they need something that can help them. Okay. So they need the content knowledge, not just what and why, but also how, the process knowledge. Okay, you don't tell them the theory. Oh, new product development, there are 7 stages. There are this. Yeah, so what? How can I adopt it? Yeah, I believe Pat Jim in DigiPass, he aware of all this. He's actually a first-class student. You talk about theory, you know, principle. He know more than me. Yeah, but what he more interested in is how. Now, disruption caused by COVID-19. Yeah, lack of raw materials. How to transform, you know, align all resources to develop a new product that to meet current requirement, for example, to tap into the world market, and to become number 1 again. How? Okay, you can tell him a lot of theory. Oh, you need to hardworking, you need to apply Michael Porter 5 forces, all these kind of models and so on. Yeah, he aware of all this already. Yeah, but what he want to know more is the practical side. How? Yeah, the process, the knowledge. How, you know, from point A to become point B. Yeah, so that is very important. Yeah. And just to illustrate to you the difference between kind of what and why and how to. Yeah, basically a lot of what we know, aware of today, tend to be focused on the science discipline. Yeah, when there come a problem, you want to explain the problem. So, and then the kind of analytic, empirical research, and what you get at the end is a theories, the models, a kind of law, for example. This kind of scientific approach. Whether engineering approach, people like me are mechanical engineer by background, we always ask the question, how? Okay, like for example, you know, you got a problem, how you design a new product, you know, a new intelligent mask, for example. Yeah, so how you do it, you need to specify, design, and then build a prototype and test it, for example. So at the end, the knowledge will be a product, whether it can be used or not. Yeah, so it's the verification is not whether a proposition is true, but whether this thing work in the real world, whether the N95 intelligent mask, you know, is really kind of wireless proof, for example. Yeah, it's not about theory, not about concept and so on. It's about whether it work in the real world, whether consumer willing to pay money to buy the product. Okay. Again, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that scientific approach is rubbish and so on. I'm not saying that. What I try to say is I want to provide you another angle, another dimension to understand about this research. Yeah, so not just about modeling. You also can do practical oriented research at the same time. So you can apply kind of mixed methods. You do the hypothesis testing, the model, the theory, and then you also can then do kind of process-based action research to work it, to apply your knowledge or your model or framework in the real world with a company. Yeah, it's a win-win. Okay, so and it's become more common today, and most of the top journals, they demand a kind of a hybrid or mixed method to your research. So not just pure mathematics, modeling, and so on. Okay. Yeah, this is so this is from Sussman, and one of the very famous OM supply chain researcher in the early 70s. Yeah, she commented, as our methods and techniques have become more sophisticated, they have also become increasingly less useful for solving the practical problems that members of organization face. In today is 2021. Yeah, so you can see practitioners have been demanding, have been looking for a kind of a more practical oriented research for a long time. They've been crying for help. Okay, but a lot of academics just ignore them. They play the game of modeling and so on. I'm not, again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they are rubbish. What I try to say is they also, there's a big demand also for practical oriented research. Yeah. And Kim, Ken Pratt from Cambridge University, my PhD supervisor. So he again was a consultant in the UK for many years before he continued his PhD at Cambridge University. Yeah. So from his background, he realized, actually a lot of company want practical oriented, how to kind of process knowledge. Yeah. And there are enough already, not that all of them, but plenty of theory models available to guide managers already. But manager want to know how. Okay. So he sort of proposed or develop this process approach in operation management. Yeah, so aim to understand how operation management activity are carried out. Yeah, so how can you improve them? Yeah, the output from this kind of approach would be processes. So get managers, to achieve their set objective. Yeah, and also genetic knowledge. So you develop your research with one company, a process for them to, for example, to shorten their new product development. So if you do that, with one company and that's it, and then you are a consultant. So that is not right, because we are academic. Okay, so the model or the framework that you develop for this company A, should be able to be generalized, to be generic enough, so you can apply them to company B in different country, in America, in Latin America, for example. Yeah, so that is what we want to achieve using the process research. Not just I applied this approach with this DigiPass in Batam. It's only for him only. No, it's not like this. It's not just for Pak Jim. Pak Ahmad, Pak Iwan in different part of the Indonesia, Southeast Asia or Asia or Latin America also can apply this approach, to develop their new product, and launch it to the world and become number one. So that is academic research. Okay, so don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'm not trying to promote consultancy here. It's kind of look like a consultancy, but not consultancy. It's a very academic oriented and very robust approach to research. Okay, and in terms of the overview, it's a very demanding. I need to give you a warning. Yeah, it's not a kind of approach for the faint-hearted researcher. You need to commit a lot of time because you need to deal with company a lot. And as you know, company are very demanding. Yeah, and they want result. They want result very fast. So you need to deal with company. Yeah, not just the CEO, the senior manager, the directors, the workers, and so on. You have to deal with everyone in the company, and not just one company. Most likely, if you want to apply the process research, you have to deal with 20 or 30 companies. During the course of your PhD, 3 years, 20 or 30 companies. Every company you have to spend many months. So imagine how much time you need to spend. So you have to work 7 days a week non-stop in order to achieve all this. Because otherwise, the developed framework or process would not be robust enough. Yeah, it could be too tailored for a specific company. Then it's like a consultant. So that is not good. Yeah, because your developed process should be generic enough. Yeah, to be applied in different industry or in different. So that is important. Yeah. So basically, the 4 stages is you first need to develop process based on your literature review, interview with the practitioners, develop them, test them, with some company. Yeah. Okay, then you do the initial testing. This means go to 1 or 2 company, really implement it. So the company need to align their resources, machinery, people, everything, follow what you say and make it happen. Okay, not just on paper. You go for meeting, interview, drink some coffee, do what, a few discussion here and there, shake hands, say, oh, I did a case study. Oh, I'm very happy. No, not like this. You go in, all the senior director have listened to you, what you tell them, they then implement immediately, get the worker, align the resources, supplier, inventory, everything all based on what you're thinking, your idea, make it happen. Okay, so it is called testing, just like DigiPass. Yeah, when we develop this Easy Pro of intelligent mass. Yeah, so we don't just on paper design and so on. Immediately he de-align the machinery, train the workers, new production line. Immediately pump the intelligent face mask to the market. Okay, and budget everything. And then, of course, you will get some feedback. They will say, "Oh, your process is too slow, or your process is too complicated. You know, workers are complaining, they don't know, and so on." You get feedback. Yeah. And then you go and improve your process and framework. Yeah. And then you go and test it again. Now to different companies. Yeah. Again, they have to implement, everything based on what you say, and so on. The whole company. Yeah. And that is called further testing. Yeah. And of course, you're going to get some feedback, and then you try to improve it again. Okay. Then the last stage, I think this is the most difficult one in this research, is that it's called validation testing. In this case, in this stage, you need to develop a book or a workbook. Yeah. So using this approach is very good, because at the end you're able to sell books and make money. So you need to develop a workbook or a book, and then give it to someone else. In this case, another researcher that you don't know or not familiar with. And then that researcher will read the book, understand it, and then apply everything written in that book to another company, implement it. The whole organization will listen to him. Yeah, so that is what we call independent testing. So you're not tell anything. Yeah, you're not going to share anything. So that independent researcher will do everything based on your book. Yeah, so that is a very important test. If someone can just get the book and understand, this means your framework is very robust, easy to understand, yeah, and easy to be implemented, and so on and so forth. If that new researcher read your book, still don't understand what is going on, and then when implement, the company face many problems. Company used to be making a lot of money, after implemented that your approach, they bankrupt and so on. Then that is not good. So this is what the 4 stages of the process research. So as you can see, very, very demanding, but very rewarding, because you really learn a lot dealing with so many different people, CEO all the way to toilet cleaner. You have to liaise with them and so on. A big company, few thousand workers all listen to you. You are like a CEO, for example, and then you can see your ideas being turned into outcome and outputs, and then the company are making money, and then everybody win. Of course, you don't get any money, because what you can get is eventually get some of the result and publish in the paper. Okay, but the company will be laughing all the way to the bank, not you. Okay. So some of you may not wonder, what is a process? I'm talking about process. So a process is kind of an intervention to achieve a particular outcome. Okay, the process of how can you transform your idea into a finished product and launch it to the world quickly. Yeah, so I work on the process with DigiPass. How to do it. Yeah, kind of, intervention. I would tell him, okay, step 1, you need to do this. First, you need to align your workers, and then so on and so forth. So that is a process. Yeah. And I just will do the simulation here for you. When you manage this process, you must remember this very important, what we call the too many simulation. Let me put all of them together. We call it the 4P. Okay, point of entry, procedures, project management, participation. Very, very important. Yeah, Professor Pratt, he published also a paper, very thick papers, detail every P. What should you do and so on. Yeah, because you are not consultant. Okay, you are academic researcher. So you need to have a good transparency, visibility of how you conduct the research. So that someone someday, 10 years later, read your thesis or articles, that can replicate your work somewhere else. Okay, so that is very important. Yeah, shouldn't be just one-off, company specific. Without you, nobody can implement it. Then that is not research, because you don't add to existing body of knowledge, because you don't add any new knowledge. Okay, what you do is help the company. Okay, so that is very important. So point of entry, procedures, participation, and the project management. I'm not going to spend time on this, because this again take a few days just to explain each of these P. Okay, how you approach a company, how you greet them, who you talk to. There are many points you need to consider under point of entry, for example, and so on and so forth. Okay, and you can see number of company involved, usually, and also the changes in the process. Yeah, so initially going to be a lot of changes in the process. You can see here high, and toward the end, the more company tested, the more case study you conducted, less changes because you become more stable and stable and stable. Of course, it's never ending. You can test it with 10,000, 100,000 company, still someone will complain something, right? But what you can do is you try your best. There are certain level we call it enough is enough. Okay, because it's never ending. There are different. How many? 7 billion people in the world. So it's not easy. Yeah. So to share with you, in my PhD, yeah, and these are the company work with me. Yeah, each of them I spent many months. Yeah, in the early G straw, Unilever, and so on. So big company to test the concept, the work, and everything. Yeah, and they say okay, they give the green light. Then I will improve their supply chain operation management performance. Yeah, and then after that, test it again with GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, British American Tobacco, headquarter in the UK, and then also have one independent AI Quality Tech company based in Cambridge, a research from South Africa. He happened to visit UK, and then he know nothing about my research or about UK. So based on the workbook I written, quality and before in a short period of time. Okay, and then that was maybe you say lucky. Okay, can you do it again with another company? Of course, if you want to argue in that way, then it's never ending. Uh, so that is the stages involved in the process. Okay, and it's important. Yeah, you sometimes think really small and very big. Okay, so what does that mean? So let me show you this video clip. If you look at this, not this guy again, but you look at this Olympic 100 meter, you see this one, Usain Bolt, 9.85, you still remember? Yeah, where he won the gold medal. See the starting position, all of them like this. Okay, but if you look at what happened in Olympic, where is my PPT? Yeah, in Olympic in 1896, you see the runner. What is the starting position? How they ready for the start? Only this guy, yeah, is in the kind of a pose, a ready start position that currently adopted by all the runners today. Okay, but he is a pioneer. But at that time, there is no standard. Yeah, of course, if you look at the 1986 Olympic, this guy Thomas, he won the gold medal. Yeah, but immediately after that, yeah, in the 1900 Olympics, everybody adopted his approach until today. Okay, so this is why I want to share with you that a lot of things in the business world, yeah, best practices will be adopted by your competitor rapidly, and advantages are difficult to sustain. Before, yeah, nobody know which is the best way to start a kind of 100-meter race, and this guy came up with an idea and he won, and immediately the competitor, the rest of the runners in the world will copy him. Yeah, so this is important to remember. You are not alone, and your competitors are not stupid. They have even more resources than you. So if you come up with a good idea and so on, best practices, they will imitate and so on. So I'll be telling you in the beginning why this rapid acceleration. Do it competitor, Microsoft, Apple, copy him. He immediately run very fast, win the goals all the time. By the time they catch up, He already had the IP, intellectual property, yeah, IP granted by US, by Europe, by Japan. I think these are the most powerful economic nation anyway. So it's good enough to protect his product in the world market. Okay, because you cannot protect, someone is part of Latin America want to imitate your product. What can you do? It's small company. You also don't want to sue them because they are small company. They got no money to pay you anyway. But if Apple, if this Siemens, if Hitachi, they copy your product, huge company, then you even make more money, right? But of course, those are different strategy. But the important thing is the right way. Okay, so this is important. Yeah, just a simple analog. But I hope you understand what I try to say here. Okay. So that's all I want to cover for this session. And again, I'm sorry. Just now I didn't adjust my clock because it's this weekend. To share with you was 2 hours is enough. Just add time for Q&A. Like thank you.
Kishan, sir, kami the student, especially in the for the PhD student, focus on making complicated model or maybe making complex model. This is in the mindset in our doctoral student. Okay, how to improve our research center to the problem in the field, also provide for the organization or the company how to step the steps of improving our research capability.
Yes. So you want the process knowledge. How to? Yeah. Very good. So one way to start with this, you need to have a kind of a research culture that a lot of student research work they have to link with industry. I think a good example when I was in Cambridge, Cambridge initially, they also very scientific oriented. A lot of modeling, complex and so on. To operation management, especially on the practical side. So he changed the culture. Many company to IDS to have discussion with students, to involve in seminar and so on. Because practitioners, they're always looking for new knowledge or new technology, to improve their services and products so that they become more competitive. So you need to open up to get them in. So the more they come in and then they engage in the discussion with some, so the practitioner will ask a very practical question. They say, okay, very interesting. How can I use it to improve my quality performance, for example? How can I improve my logistic performance? How can I shorten the lead time? Your model is very useful. Even though I don't understand, but I think it's very useful. Now help me, for example. So it will shift the culture over time. It's not like something that can happen overnight, because I believe ITS, you are a kind of very engineering oriented kind of university. Yeah, so the mindset is very difficult to change over time. But Sir Mike Gregory, he himself also an engineer. Okay, so but he managed to change our mindset over time. I'm an engineer, yeah, but not I'm very much into the strategy and management, because in terms of how companies really appreciate the kind of research that we do for them, and then it's a win-win, because the more they gain more market share, they make more money, they will more willing to fund our research. They're more willing to work with us. And then reputation, the word of mouth will travel. More company heard about that, then they will come and so on. So this will take time. But I think the first step forward is to have exposure, and then to get more company involved in your research discussion. Yeah, PhD presentation. Get company involved, attend, and then they can ask questions, and then from there they're going to be some of discussion, collaboration opportunity. And that will then shape the next generation of researcher, PhD in your department, because we're company oriented now. Instead of all this mathematics nobody understand, now they are slightly relate mixed method, and then the newcomer, they will then try to learn from it, and then you can pass down the knowledge to them, and then this thing will come better and better. Yeah. Maybe it's no rapid process involved, like I do it now, next year you can do this. Impossible, because academic institutions tend to move very slowly, incrementally. Yeah, I believe between 3 or 4 table around in terms of culture for learning, scheduling research to more practical oriented. That is can add new knowledge to the literature, and also have high impact for the society and also industry, and also policymakers in the ministry as well. Okay, that is very important. You can do is to engage with the minister, the ministry, different officer from the ministry, to come to share the white papers, what and the Surabaya, government plan for the next 10 years, 20 years, and so on. Yeah, for students to understand, how they can contribute, how can they play a part to build this Indonesia in your Negaraku song, So they will see, because if they don't see the big picture, or they are not tapped in or linked to what is going on, they will just say, okay, I need to complete my PhD. So which is the quickest way? Oh, my senior, they do this complex modeling. Oh, I also want to do this, because it's a very safe way to pass, to get the PhD. Yeah, it's like I can do this model, and then anyway, nobody understand much anyway. And then I put some data here, I do some simulation, job done, I pass. But this is cheating yourself, because you know that this thing is not practical in the real world. What is the point? Yeah, if you want to spend 3 years doing a PhD, why not doing it properly? Why doing that is a win-win, that you learn something, you add to new knowledge, and also the collaborator that working with you also gain from it. So it's a win-win, because you have to spend 3 years, at least 3 years anyway. So why don't do it properly? So this kind of mindset, if you need to change incrementally, slowly, provided you give them the environment. You give them the triggers. Invite in practitioners, invite policymakers. Maybe sometimes also visit some companies and some. So this thing will shift over time. Okay. Sorry, I do not have the quick answer for you. Like 3 months you can achieve this,
yes.
but I think this is going to be something can be achieved over a period of time. Yeah.
Thank you for valuable knowledge and experience of Prof. Kim, but the time is less and it's over. So we give, or all students give the reaction for the Prof. Kim using the symbol like this. Okay.
Thank you. So next time we could have a longer session. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then time for the Bu Inaki.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Iwan as moderator, and special for guest lecturer today, Prof. Kim Tan Hua, for sharing valuable knowledge. about operation management to all participants this afternoon. Thank you very much, Prof. Iwan and Prof. Kim Tan Hua. Thank you, Prof. And then next agenda is photo session. Please, all participants can be open camera in your Zoom, each one. Give me best smile to take picture together. For the take picture together, Mrs. Dira, are you ready?
Thank you, Miss Ina.
Yeah, can you lead for the take picture together?
Okay. Okay, hold your smile because I have to capture it pages by pages. Okay, for the first page, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the second.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Okay, the last page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And the last session.